Voting is underway in the East African country of Uganda as the country has been put under a complete internet blackout after a campaign season marred by violence. President Yoweri Museveni's 35-year-long rule is being challenged by a man half his age. Polls were due to open at 7 in the morning, but at 6 polling stations in the capital city, voting began after hours. Ballot papers did not arrive on time as voters' queues grew. The country of nearly 46 million people is living with an internet blackout. These visuals from Kampala, where the music star turned opposition leader Bobi Wine cast his vote. As Wine's car arrived at the polling station, his supporters danced and cheered. Just ahead of his casting his vote, Wine said that his polling agents were being intimidated by the military and the police. Earlier, Museveni called on Ugandans to vote and said that security forces were ready to defend anyone worried about intimidation by the opposition. 38-year-old Bobi Wine is channeling the anger of several young Ugandans who say former guerrilla leader Museveni is an out-of-touch dictator failing to tackle unemployment and surging public debt. He recently called the voting a protest vote by the youth of the country. He urged the people to take their future in their own hands. Museveni, on the other hand, calls Wine a mouthpiece of foreign governments and homosexuals. And our correspondent Coletta Banjohi is joining us from Addis Ababa. Hi, Coletta. Give us a better sense of the situation on the ground, the security arrangements. The country has never seen a peaceful transition of power. What is the expectation this time around?
Well, to begin with, we are seeing the voting happening today with a clear hitch. Lack of communication, blockout of internet since yesterday. The Uganda Communications Commission ordered the mobile phone operators in the country to shut down internet. Our colleagues in Uganda cannot really communicate much because of the internet shutdown. So that is one of the hitches, because it's very hard for people and voters to really tell about what's happening on the ground. It is a country that has seen many people who are about 34 years old have only seen one leader, and a leader who believes and has expressed himself on the fact that he came to power through the bush, by fighting, and of course showing that he's not ready to leave power. However, we are seeing a kind of change of status quo in terms of young people being led by this legislator, Bobi Wine, coming out and projecting themselves and saying maybe Uganda, it's time for change. However, with the intimidation, a lot of security forces in the streets, and a lot of threats to the citizens, so citizens are taken back to a situation whereby many are saying that the fate of Uganda lies in the hands of one person, and that is the incumbent President Yoweri Museveni.
What is the reason given by the authorities for this social media ban and the internet blackout?
Well, according to the government, we've seen the government projecting itself, the president himself, and also other military leaders and also police forces are saying that they need to protect the people, quote unquote, and keep them safe. And we know the young people, most of whom have come out, part of the 18 million voters who have come out, are people who rely on social media in terms of information and all that. So the government is looking at the social media more of a propaganda tool. That's what they say. And probably on the other side, if you look at it from the other side, it could be a tool that can easily mobilize people around the country, which is something that probably the government really fears right now. So the government says it's about security, but citizens say they have a right to access internet and to have access to this, especially during this important time. So we now have most of the citizens even more angry with what they say the government is curtailing their freedom of expression through blockage of internet.
Right. Bobi Wine has been attracting the attention of the youth. He's been called a youth crusader, channeling the anger of many young Ugandans who say that Museveni is an out-of-touch dictator failing to tackle unemployment and several crucial issues.
Yes, after 34 years, it's still a country that is still, hit by a very high level of unemployment. The infrastructure is not what people would expect and all that. But now we're seeing the president, the incumbent, saying his motto is securing the future. And people, especially young people, have been asking which is the future with a leader who's been there for 34 years. And that's why the obvious option now, right now, is the other front runner, who is Bobi Wine, who's younger and who has projected himself as someone who understands the issue of the young people. So it's going to be a challenge for the president, even if he gets through, to try and explain and also cover the gap of what especially the young people are looking at, because the challenges of young people, the challenges of the youth, of the youth for such a youthful country is really rife. So it's going to be a challenge for the president, and also moving forward, people are not sure how the young people will look at him if he takes the office again for the 6th term.
Coletta Banjohi, we'll keep coming back to you for further updates. Thanks very much for the moment.
Co-presented by Skoda. Simply clever.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.